Good evening. First, do it. Then, do it right. Then, do it better. Welcome to BMC News Live English. Myself, Shina Sultana, joining you with the daily news updates. Today's headlines.
Bahrain participates in International Astronautical Congress. Sinopharm vaccine approved for children aged 3 to 11. Manama among best capital cities to visit. Bahrain yesterday recorded 37 new COVID-19 cases. Saudi Arabia cancels 14-day waiting period between Umrah.
Today's news in detail. The National Space Science Agency (NSSA) is participating in the 72nd session of the International Astronautical Congress (IAC). The event, hosted by the United Arab Emirates and organized by Mohammed bin Rashid Space Center (MBRSC) in cooperation with the International Astronautical Federation (IAF), is the largest and most important of its kind. NSSA's advisor Dr. Mohammed Al Othman and a number of space engineers are taking part in the event, as well as representatives from the Bahrain team participating in the International Space Camp in cooperation with the Keelman International Foundation. The decision was taken to accept Bahrain, represented by NSSA, as a full member of the IAF. CEO of NSSA, Dr. Mohammed Ibrahim Al Asuri, who headed the kingdom's delegation, said, "It is a new achievement and an important step towards one of the objectives of the agency's 2019 to 2030 strategic plan. Their approval reflects the outstanding reputation of the kingdom under the leadership of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa and the follow-up and support of His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister." Dr. Al Asiri said the conference is being held this year under the theme Inspire, Innovate and Discover for the benefit of humankind. The National Medical Task Force for Combating the Coronavirus (NHRA) announced that following approval by the Vaccination Committee, all children aged 3 to 11 will be eligible to receive 2 doses of the Sinopharm vaccine starting Wednesday 27th October 2021. The task force noted that the decision was taken following a thorough review of all medical health and safety recommendations conducted by the Vaccination Committee, adding that the move aims to preserve public health. Additionally, the Pfizer-BioNTech vaccine will soon be approved for children aged 5 to 11 age who will be eligible to receive 2 doses. Full details will be announced on the Ministry of Health's website. The task force stressed that it is important that eligible children get vaccinated to protect themselves, their families and public health. To register children for the vaccination, please visit the Ministry of Health's website at healthalert.gov.bh or register through the Be Aware application. The task force noted that registration requires the consent of a legal guardian. The children must also have an adult accompanying them when receiving their vaccination. Manama has been named one of the best capital cities in the world to visit, according to a survey conducted by an international travel company. Primarily due to its low crime rating and rare occurrences of bitterly cold, wet and windy weather, Bahrain has been ranked the 4th best capital city to visit by San Francisco-based Bounce. Attorney General Dr. Ali bin Fadl Al Bunayn has affirmed the public prosecution intention to implement effectively the restorative justice law for children and the protection from I-11 treatment, that is I-2 treatment, which is an exemplary legislation with an enlightened humanitarian dimension in the criminal treatment and protection of children. This is because it includes procedural and objective provisions that stipulate that no judgment or order shall be issued or actions be taken against children unless they are based on a thorough study of their social and psychological conditions, as well as ensuring that top priority shall always be given to the best interest of the child, he said. The Attorney General made the statements while addressing the international workshop on the prospects and challenges of effective application of the restorative justice law for children, held under his patronage in cooperation with the Judicial and Legal Studies Institute and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime, and with the participation of the British and French embassies in Bahrain. The two-day event was launched today with the participation of more than 200 specialists from different countries and in the presence of the Minister of Justice, Islamic Affairs and of Endowment, Sheikh Khalid bin Ali Al Khalifa, ambassadors and diplomats, judges, members of the public prosecution and experts and international experts took part in the workshop. In his opening speech, Dr. Al Bunayn stressed that the ultimate goal of the law on restorative justice for children is to give priority to preserving the best interests of the child. The aim is to ensure reform in a manner that preserves the rights of the child, commensurate with the objectives of the United Nations. Labour and Social Development Minister and Chairman of the Board of Directors of the Labour Market Regulatory Authority (LMRA), Jamil bin Mohammed Ali Homaidan, headed the Bahraini delegation in the 6th Ministerial Consultation Meeting of Asian Labour Sending and Receiving Countries Abu Dhabi Dialogue (ADD), held in Dubai from 25th to 28th October. The current session agenda includes discussing monitoring expected changes in labor markets and economic developments and their potential impact on the rates of supply and demand for a qualified workforce at the national, regional and international levels. The meeting discussed the change in work patterns due to technological development and the extent of its impact on future professions, as well as addressing future job opportunities for women in light of the growing demand for jobs in the health, social care and education sector. The participants will review ways to develop relations between the participating countries and coordinate among them at the international levels on issues related to global work, regulations and legislation in a way that contributes to strengthening the protection of the workforce rights to ensure the stability of relations. Now we shall go for short commercial break. Welcome back. Bahrain yesterday recorded 37 new COVID-19 cases and 63 recoveries. Of the new cases, 8 were expatriate workers, 24 contacts of local cases and 5 travel related. There were no deaths recorded yesterday. Free genetic screening could be offered to relatives of women diagnosed with breast cancer within efforts to raise awareness and early detection as part of a parliamentary proposal. According to 2020 figures by the International Agency for Research on Cancer, Globocan, a subsidiary of the World Health Organization (WHO), breast cancer is the most prevalent cancer on the island, accounting for 20%. Bahrain has launched major initiatives to promote its position as a global tourism center to increase the sector's share in the gross domestic product (GDP) and increase the number of countries targeted for attracting more tourists. The Bahrain Tourism and Exhibition Authority (BTEA) unveiled the main features of the kingdom's tourism strategy for the years 2022 to 2026. Bahrain could introduce university student visas for expats if MPs have their way. An urgent proposal was presented yesterday by 5 MPs led by Badr al-Dosari. Flexible work permits in the country have dropped by almost 50% following tougher measures to regulate the system, it has been revealed. The document introduced by the Labour Market Regulatory Authority (LMRA) in 2017 allows holders to take up freelance employment with multiple employers. 16 rare diseases are currently being studied at the National Genome Center as the world marks the International Week of Hereditary Blood Diseases. It falls in the last week of October every year, and the celebration aims to raise awareness by providing care to patients, educating the community, and reaffirming the importance of committing to conducting comprehensive medical testing prior to marriage. Bahraini women's participation in the labor force has increased by 10%, revealed the National Gender Balance Report 2019 to 2020. 43% of the Bahraini workforce are women, up from 33% in 2017 to 2018, while the kingdom's overall gender balance index increased to 69% from 65% in 2017 to 18. Reaching 73% in key areas reviewed. His Royal Highness Prince Salman bin Hamad Al Khalifa, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, has reaffirmed Bahrain's commitment to achieving regional and global environmental security. He also highlighted Saudi Arabia's strategic role in furthering regional development and environmental protection as he took part in the Middle East Green Initiative Summit in Riyadh yesterday. Pilgrims wishing to perform Umrah will no longer be required to wait for 14 days to book for the ritual, according to the Ministry of Hajj and Umrah. On October 16th, the Ministry of Interior announced the easing of restrictions across the kingdom, including those affecting the Grand Mosque in Mecca and the Prophet's Mosque in Medina, allowing a full return to operations and capacity, it has been announced. An expatriate worker is now allowed to transfer his services to another employer without waiting for the expiration of at least 1 year period after his arrival in Saudi Arabia, provided certain conditions are fulfilled. The amended regulations state that the consent of the current employer should be obtained for the transfer, which should not be in violation of the conditions prescribed in the Nitakat Saudization program for the private sector. According to the new amendments, an expatriate worker can transfer his services to another employer without stipulating the specific period in the event of the approval of the current employer. The second amendment was that the expatriate worker has the right to transfer his services to another employer upon the expiry of the period of the documented work contract without the consent of the current employer. The third amendment was that with regard to the provisions of Article 77 of the Labour Law, the expatriate worker may transfer his services to another employer without requiring the approval of the current employer when conditions are met. Global Village is back on Tuesday, October 26th for a brand new season. Numerous enhancements including a coffee shop overlooking the lake, a new iconic structure and modified walkways have been prepared this season. Guests can look forward to new food concepts, live entertainment and splurge on unique shopping experiences. Last year, Global Village celebrated its 25th season by breaking 25 Guinness World Records in Dubai. Online tickets prices remain at 15 dirhams and at the gate. With this, we come to the end of today's news. Stay tuned for daily news updates in BMC News Live English at 7:30 p.m. Thank you so much for watching. Signing off by Shina Sultana. Good night.